Hi everyone, welcome back, and here I am. This is Andy, and this is what I look like and sound like when the connection is working. And I'm really sorry about the webinar that couldn't take place. That was not the fault of Klett. It was my connection in the hotel, which is a very good hotel and a good connection. And we tested it a few times and it was fine, but in the end it decided not to work, which is a bit like when you go to the photocopier for that worksheet just before your lesson and the photocopier jams. So that was my feeling, and it was very frustrating, so I'm sorry. And we will be getting in touch about some dates when you can see that webinar a couple of times so that you all have a chance to see it. But just now, to give you a taste of it, because it's a really important message. It's not just to talk about graded reading per se and just some activities that are involved in the beautiful Black Cat readers. It's a wider discussion than that, and I want to open up the idea that really there's something wrong with the way we teach reading at school. And I don't mean in Germany, and I don't mean necessarily foreign languages. I mean throughout the whole world. We have been spending years and years teaching students or bringing them to the classrooms and forcing books upon them, limited selections, and then following them up only with tests. And it creates a false belief in them that reading is boring, it's only difficult, and why would they, after 10 years or so of that experience, go away and then adopt a grown-up reading approach, which we hope they'll have one day, which in fact is very opposite. We don't test ourselves, we don't download a book on Kindle or buy a paperback and then go and look for a worksheet. We enjoy reading, we read for pleasure, we read to experience other characters, lives, narratives, and respond to that. And I also want to challenge us all to think about why we say too much that we don't have time to read. I want to look at that too and fix that, because that's not true. We do have time. It's how we choose to spend the time. And also in the classroom, it's how we are going to choose to spend our time delivering, if you will, a series of objectives with grammar and vocabulary. But it doesn't have to be the same thing again and again. And I'm going to argue the case with readers, with the beautiful Black Cat readers, that if we open up more choice, if we find a way, and there is a way, and there are many resources out there to implement extensive reading with students and classrooms, not intensive, not always testing, but allowing students to do what we do as adults, which is to choose books and put them back if we don't like them and give up if we don't like them. But we have to keep going with books that we do find interesting and that we find easy. And it's easy reading that is not often exposed to students' lives at school. It's always difficult reading. We all have to read the same thing. And so when we do the webinar, we're going to challenge the way we do things at the moment and embrace a new idea. Well, actually, it's not a new idea, but it could be new for you. But for 30 years or more, there have been many great examples and resources on what happens with the students. Dramatic increase in results, in exam results, reading and writing and other skills benefit if they are reading much more easily than we do them at books at the moment, and also if we are giving them a choice of titles. And of course, life skills goes hand in hand with those topics. We don't read just for the story, we respond to what happens, we learn about what's going on. Stories take place in a time and place, and we respond to how we feel. And life skills are about critical thinking, about how we're going to teach our students to be responsible, decent, positive contributors to a modern society. And there is no lesson in the timetable to be a good citizen, to collaborate, communicate, share with people, cope with stress and conflict, disappointment. All those things we have in our life experiences are there for us to teach too, alongside the topics that we teach when we are teaching English. So we're going to look at a wider issue that it's not teaching English that we should be doing. English isn't the end result. It's what we do with it, not only in cultural terms and not in life skill terms, in terms of what we can learn from books as students and as adults, but also develop a real, true reading habit, which is actually based on what we do at the moment and not what we do at school, I think, which is we find a little bit of time to do the reading, if we can, and we read only the things that we choose and that we find easy to read. And if we give that to students, then we have a very interesting scenario with dramatic results. So we'll look at that in those webinars. I'm sorry we couldn't do it when we wanted, but it'll be coming soon, and I'll hope to see you then. Thanks. Bye-bye.